for the two brightest minds on the planet. Are you ready to join in deep conversation and get the answers to all things? Sit back and enjoy the Mike and Brian Show.
Welcome to the Mike and Brian Show. My name is Mikael. Me and my partner Brain are the executive producers of this here show, and we're going to bring on two of the brightest minds on the planet. In fact, they are the two brightest minds on the planet, and they're going to get to the bottom of every issue imaginable. And right now, I'm just going to make myself a simple little phone call and get my partner on the phone. Probably out by the hen house right now, if he ain't out at the outhouse. Better pick up that damn phone.
Hello.
Hey, Brain, it's Mikael. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Mikael, what's going on?
Well, I'm excited about tonight's premiere show. We're doing show number 1. Why we are Trump supporters, why all of us are Trump supporters, why everybody should be a Trump supporter. And we're going to bring on the two brightest minds on the planet to discuss that issue with us. And they're going to explain everything about why we are Trump supporters.
Wow, that's going to be exciting there.
You know it is. You know it is, my partner. Let me call Mike in here. Hold on a minute. Hey, Mike, we're ready for the show. Come on in now. Hey, Mike. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you guys. Who you got on the phone? Hey, Brain. How you doing, Brain?
Hey, pretty good tonight, man.
Hey, I'm glad to hear it, man. Hey, we really, Brian and I really appreciate you guys funding this show and being our executive producers very much. We're gonna discuss everything in full detail tonight, and we definitely represent you guys' views as well. Can you put Brian on the phone for me?
Well, I think I tried to find him. I don't know. Let me see. Brian. Brian. Oh, there he is. Yep, I see him. Hang on, Brian. They want to talk to you. Okay. Yep.
Hey, Brian. How's it going, man?
Oh, is this Mike?
Yeah, it's Mike. I'll tell you. You want to say hi to Mikael? Hey, Mikael, come say hi to Brian. Oh, thank you very much. Hey, Brian, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Mikael, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about tonight's show. I know you're going to let the world know why we're all Trump supporters, and I appreciate it. Let me put Mike back on for you now.
Go ahead, yes.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, I mean, this is our premiere show, why we are Trump supporters. And, I'm glad to be here with you. This is awesome. I'm really happy about Mikael and Brain, coming up with the funding and being our executive producers. Awesome of them to do that.
And he's really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Be a major sponsor of it, yeah.
So, you want to start off? I mean, because basically we're just telling, this is our premiere show. We're letting people know right off the bat why we are Trump supporters. I can go or you can go. I mean, I'd like to hear it from you, actually. I'm the one that's always exhausting my views on things. And, as much as we talk, I don't know that you've come right out and said why you're a Trump supporter. So why are you a Trump supporter?
I think I'm probably a Trump supporter, just the same as all the other Trump supporters. I just love what he does. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that I liked him back. It's probably been 10 years ago when he was going around with the real estate guy. They were doing seminars, and I went and saw him live, and he came out and just, said it like it is, basically, just like he does now. And I said, this guy's great. He's a billionaire and all that, and he still, talks to the people like that. So
That's cool.
That was kind of the beginning.
I don't mean to cut you off, but actually because of the way I appreciate hearing that, because you've never told me that. And instead of me just having you, regurgitate everything about why you support him and then me doing the same, I'll just play off of what you say and you can play off of what I say. Because when you said that inspired me to know that was your motivation. Just because you saw this great, successful guy and he impressed you as a human being. It's amazing how many people I have heard say the same thing about him. Me, if I just came right off and said why I support Trump, you know how I created my website, presidentmike.com, back in probably 2000. I probably created it in 2004 or 6. When Obama was running for office, actually when the Bushes were in the office, I was so disgusted with politics, I figured, man, let me just create my own, website and put my views about everything. As you know, one of the things I have a difficulty with is I'm so intense and I'm so detailed about, things that, it's easy for me to give people the wrong impression. I know that about myself. So I always feel like I have to explain and give preface, saying things like, hey, we don't all agree on everything, but there's certain things that we do agree on politically. What my views are on tattoos. I have friends with tattoos and I have friends that like tattoos on girls. I don't like them. I don't like tattoos. I don't agree with them. I don't think especially pretty, beautiful, sexy girls should be wearing them. I do believe that people are doing it now because of the media. It's media driven. When I was in high school, nobody had any tattoos, and everybody wants a tattoo. It's certainly a media-driven thing, and in a way, I feel bad for people because they are subject to the manipulation and control of the media. But from that kind of ties into, a lot of personal views I have about life and the perversion of the media and just this world that we live in that's got so many, problems in it, and the corruption in politics. So when I saw the corruption with the Bushes and I saw Obama when he was in office was an absolute disgrace, I wasn't going to vote anymore. God's honest truth is I was done. I wasn't going to vote. I was through with politics. I was never going to vote again. When Donald Trump ran, I was like, hallelujah, man. Because I knew even with PresidentMike.com, I'm not going to become the president. Who am I? A nobody, right? I don't have the funding. I can't, I'm not some doctor or lawyer, most of whom run for office. So I'm not going to be able to run. But when I saw Donald Trump was running, and it's funny because my mind is thinking in the current state of affairs, but it's also thinking back then, right? When I think about at the time when Trump was running, or before he was running, actually, nobody had a problem. Nobody ever criticized him. Nobody had a problem with him. They all thought he was cool. He was a friend of the media. He had his TV shows, his reality shows. Like you said, he was a successful, billionaire. I remember from 30 years ago when I was a teenager, seeing him on the Oprah show and like, wow, that guy's cool, man. He's a billionaire. He's a real estate tycoon. There's a guy that's got it together. I thought he was a cool guy. And throughout my life, never heard anything negative about the man. Ever, never. Nothing negative from anybody on the left or the right or in the center, from the media or nothing. He was the friend of the media. And obviously, people will try to criticize, look at pictures with him with, the Bushes, or look at pictures with him with the Clintons. The simple reality is if you're a billionaire, you're going to have acquaintances and associates from all walks of life, especially the ones that are on the upper echelon. So that's really irrelevant. But for me, he gave me a reason to vote. He gave me an opportunity to vote. And the more I saw him talking about his platform, man, the anti-establishment, anti-corruption, the United States sovereignty, borders, things that other politicians throughout my entire life, and I'm 54, right, had talked about and never did anything about, which was what I was disgusted over politicians with. And that was my big thing, was politicians, they say one thing on the campaign trail, and then they do something completely opposite when they get in office. They're like smooth-talking, rhetoric-filled, silver-tongued bullshitters, right? All of them. Yep. Career politicians. Why? Because they want to get in office and make their free checks and their free dental and their free health insurance and their big paychecks and wine and dine with the big wigs and make a career out of it. In fact, they're worse than street bums, in my opinion, because they don't want to work. They want a free ride. They're freeloaders trying to get a free ride through life on the taxpayer dollar. It's disgusting. So Trump, man, a guy that's not beholden to, the industries, a guy that's not going to be bought off and bribed like all the freaking career politicians are. They're all bought off. They're all paid for. So for me, it was about, just a real guy, a successful guy, a smart guy, raised awesome kids, his sons, his beautiful daughters, his, good-looking sons, intelligent sons, educated. And again, people try to say, Actually, nobody ever said anything bad about him. It was only after he ran, and he was running on an anti-establishment campaign. And I'm anti-establishment because I can't stand the corrupt career politicians, the corruption. I despise it. So the fact that he was running against that, and then lo and behold, the media, which he has so aptly coined the fake news media. I've always known they're full of shit. They lie, they spin, they create their own narratives that are political driven. I'm talking a lot, man. Feel free to cut in and cut me off, man.
Okay, all right. No, you're good. Yeah, just you were talking about the tattoos and all that. That was kind of solidified it when he started actually, the campaign trail. He would talk about his kids and teaching them not to smoke and not to drink and not do tattoos and all that. And I said, yeah, that's me too.
Right on.
So that was another solidifying thing.
Yep. So, they had a temporary blackout on the screen here, which I'm going to have to talk to them about. But that's okay, because we're actually going to move on to probably another issue here shortly anyway. So let me just back this up. I know that in show number 2, I'm going to have to talk to Mikhail, because Mikhail pulled up a Mike Singer Facebook post, which I knew was going to be in show number 2. Show number 1, we're just talking about why we support Trump. Hey, Mikhail, I see you have the post up, for show number 2. If we can get around to show number 2 tonight, we'll do it. But we'll see how much time we have. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine with me. You all just go on at it.
All right, thanks, Mikhail. So, Brian, every
Every once in a while, he's a good fellow.
Anyway, go ahead, Brian, man. Go ahead and discuss, one more time, what's happening in your mind, as far as, being a Trump supporter.
Well, let's see. Politics was never important, really. I never got into politics at all, and, maybe felt like, I was actually kind of a liberal growing up as a kid and doing all that stuff, and so I remember, just wanting the liberal, Democrats, I guess, just because I thought that was the way to go. But then something started to shift around Obama with the hope and change, and I thought, let's just give it a try, and really nothing changed and everything got worse. So I thought, this isn't going good. And then as soon as Trump, went down the escalator, the golden escalators, everything changed in my mind as far as politics. And I thought, okay, I don't know. It's just, I probably never would have been excited about politics without Trump, for sure.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, and again, I guess I've always been in politics, because to me it was always like, football season, hey, how's the team going to do this year? It's like, hey, what is this politician going to do something for us this time or not? And they never did through my entire life. All bullshitters. The Bushes, corrupt bullshitters. The Clintons, perverted, evil, corrupt, criminal bastards. Obama, just, an utter disgrace. I don't even like mentioning. Talk about 8 failed years, just illegal. Interesting that Trump pointed out that he was not, actually even eligible to be president. Trump was on that. He was on the whole reality that Obama was born out of the country, wasn't even eligible, and then they pushed on him, because he was going to run for president. So the powers that be, so to speak, they leveraged him. They leveraged him out of that, He knows what the truth is, but, he had to walk a certain line. I believe that. Which gets into, because now that this post is in front of me, and we're not going to get into it right now, but it just gets into the reality of, the whole deep state thing, right? About Trump being, again, anti-establishment. The fact that he's opposed, all Trump supporters support Trump because he's anti-establishment, because he's anti-New World Order, because he's anti-deep state, right? Because everybody is sick of it. The majority of people on the right and the left are tired of the deep state, the corrupt politicians, right? Controlling things and pulling the strings, and the big corporations being in bed with the politicians being in bed with the big corporations, right? The oligarchy that it creates, and the whole Wall Street scam that exists, and how they can steal people's money just by creating any number of, hoax events, right? Which we'll get into in show number 2. So it's kind of a heads up for people for our show number 2. We're definitely going to get into that issue on what Trump's doing to attack and how he's actually kind of between a rock and a hard place now, but he's got the support, And again, I'll save those issues for show number 2. But, the man to me is awesome. Many people believe that, that he's God appointed, God anointed. I've got no problem with that. I do believe we're here by creative design. I'm not a church-going, religious, Christian guy, so to speak now, as you know, but I was. I gave my life to the Lord, became a born-again Christian many years ago, by and large, because I had a lot of issues to overcome, which I did. I overcame. I'm an overcomer, which that kind of brings me full circle back to that point again, because you started taking up again on, him raising kids that didn't get tattoos and didn't smoke and didn't take drugs. I think it's awesome that Donald Trump never drank even alcohol. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't take drugs. He had a sharp mind, Now, I did all those things, but I overcame those things. I'm an overcomer. So again, as far as people out there, there's Trump supporters that smoke. There's Trump supporters that have tattoos. There's Trump supporters that are Christians and Trump supporters that aren't Christians, because of who the man is. So, I just want people to understand that I don't judge any person, but I do judge all things. I believe in judging things, not people, and it's like, everybody knows, even most people, if not all people that smoke, they know it's not good for them, and they'll admit it, and they'll wish they never started smoking, That's one of the things that drives me and gets me pissed off. When I have friends that are struggling and wrestling with an addiction because they started when they were a freaking teenager, when the media had a hold over their mind. And that's where I start getting pissed off again at the media. As I always tell people, if Trump didn't do anything right, and he did a lot right, he's doing a lot right. If he didn't do anything right, he got it right when he coined the media fake news. Because that's a fact. They are fake news liars in every way imaginable, not just in politically speaking, but the fact that they spew out, and we say media, man, we're talking Hollywood, we're talking television producers, cartoon, the music industry, the music videos, the media, man, the newscasters, they spew out into society perversion, immorality, just filthy, rotten, inhumane content, violent content, ungodly content, and they glorify it. And they do that, and their targets are children and teenagers, One of my pet peeves is, it pisses me off, and we'll do a show on this one day, is this, and I've written posts on it before, this my nigga gangster rap music, the fact that they're going to, which by the way, they're exploiting the Negro race. They're exploiting blacks, by taking blacks and decking them out with tattoos and bling and gold teeth and having them hold a gun in one hand and drugs in the other hand, and a bunch of naked white women around them, and they're spewing out language and lyrics like, with a boom, chicka ba ba, boom, chicka ba, some beat, and I'm a nigga, motherfucker. I fuck white ass. I kill them cops and I smoke that grass. I mean, that's the crap that's supposed to be representative of role models for our children and youth. No wonder the United States is so screwed up. It really is. And those are pet peeves of mine, which we're going to do shows on that. But let me tell you, the fact that he's a good, decent man and raised good, decent kids, the fact that I believe in those values, I'm using an extreme example right now with that my nigga gangster hip hop crap. That's probably a good harsh example to use. But even backing away from that, again, the fact that there's people that smoke, and they know they shouldn't. I don't judge them. I don't criticize them for smoking. I'd encourage them not to. People that, consume alcohol on a regular basis. Again, why are they? Because the media is constantly putting out all kinds of ads, and every day there's a new alcohol and a new brand, and showing people all glamorized in clubs like that's the thing to do. And that applies in alcohol, it applies in violence, it applies in drugs when they do stupid ass shows on TV, Drugs Incorporated, and they put cool gangster music and people with tattoos and they're thugs and they're interviewing them in jail, like making it look cool for our youth. That's an utter disgrace, man. That's an utter disgrace. And the fact that we've never had politicians to stand up against how the media is destroying our nation from within, which we could get onto a whole new topic here. How do you destroy a nation, man? You destroy their morals fiber. You destroy their families. You destroy them financially through the economy, which I believe is what they're trying to do now. Which again we'll hit in show number 2. But I don't judge people, man. But I damn sure judge the media for throwing all the crap out there and influencing the young, impressionable, developing, malleable, easily influenced minds of our children and our youth, who ultimately end up turning into adults that now have problems, drug problems, smoking problems, drinking problems. They're full of tattoos and wish they never did it, Again.
Well, that's why Trump is such a great role model, because he does all the right things. I mean, that's something to look up to with the, being a financial success and, just everything positive, it seems like.
Hey, Michael, excuse me. Yeah, well, what's up, Miguel? Well, hold on, Brian. Miguel wants to tell me something. Hey,
okay.
I want you guys to just talk. I want you to talk for hours and hours and hours. But let's try to keep these shows under 30 minutes. We're at 20 minutes now. We're going to try to keep it at under 30, all the shows. Is that all right with you? That's fine. No, I agree with that. That's a good idea. You might have overheard Mikhail there. Let Brain know that as much as we appreciate him and Mikhail and them putting up the money and fronting this show,
Right.
Let him know what Mikhail just said and that we're going to abide by that. Brains probably understands that and agrees with that as well.
You heard that right, Brian? Yeah, that's fine with me. I trust Mikhail, and that's probably a good idea. Yeah, he says, he likes it.
Yep, great. Yeah, no, I heard him, man. So. Sometimes I'm thinking about, things go through my head. I remember when I was up there in Alabama when Brain was over, and just the way he's a funny character, so whenever I hear his voice, he cracks me up, man. So
Same with Mikhail for me,
yeah. Getting a blackout on the screen again, probably because time's shutting down. But hey, anyway, let's keep it real strict right now because we're going to do show number 2. Obviously, we're in this, everybody's subject to this coronavirus. I won't even say the word in this video, right? This HOAX, BS, right? That's going on.
Right.
So, we'll address that, and we'll do that in show 2. Discuss that in detail. But as far as Trump goes, I appreciate you and your perspectives on it. I can say again, why I, am a Trump supporter. He's a true patriot. He's a true American. He's a guy that grew up in traditional, old school, real America. He's a Christian. He's a genuine God-fearing man. He's a genuine good father that raised good kids. People try to harp on he was married 3 times. So was I. That doesn't make somebody a criminal or make him bad. And especially what's funny is the people that criticize him for that are guilty of much worse things. That's what's really disgusting about it. But the fact that he's a good man, hardworking man, successful man, he's a winner, he's got a positive attitude. What I love about him the most now, because again, I could go back to why I was supporting him then, but now what I love more about him than anything else, I think he's my long lost father. He says it like it is. He's he says it like it is. I love to just say it like it is, man. Say it like it is. Because that's another thing I'm not a fan of is all this prim and proper, in my last days going to churches, when people would come in with their perky faces and their brim hats and their nice dresses and smelling of cologne and looking all arrogant walking down the center of the church and sitting in the church pew. And, I'm not really judging them, per se. I'm just saying that air didn't appeal to me, the prim and proper, again, presidents reading from a teleprompter all the time. So really they're just bullshitters because they're not even speaking from the heart. They're reading from a script. But they're presidential. They're presidential. No, they're just puppets for the New World Order, that's trying to, which again, we'll get into that on the next show. But yeah, the fact that he just says it like it is, man, he's real. He's a true American. He's a genuine good guy, a successful guy, a positive thinker, and he says it like it is, and he speaks from the heart, man.
Well, if anybody's seen his rallies, which probably most people have, it's great when he says, "Oh, I could be politically correct and talk like this, and I could be like a robot." But he said, "Nah, that's not where it's at." And then he just tells it like it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find for
Mikhail just passed me a note, and he says, try to get the screen back up. He says, I want to be in this show, man. He wrote a little note. Get that screen back up with me and Brain, because we're producing this show. So I just pulled the screen up for him. Now he's back there.
Yeah.
Looks like he's giggling.
Yeah. I think it looks like Brain's saying the same thing. He wants his picture up there.
Yeah. Well, I got your picture back up, Mikhail.
Okay. Good.
So yeah, I think we covered it. Anything else you want to say? I mean, I think I've said all I can say about why Trump support. I could go on and on, actually. The borders, the fact that he's, into national sovereignty. He's into respecting our troops that give their lives for our country. He's into our military and supporting it and making it strong to defend our nation. He's into, respecting the American flag. He's into, giving, decency a voice again, with Christians, people that believe in God, if you're not a Christian, great. If you're a Christian, I don't agree with everything that every Christian thinks or believes. We don't agree. That's why there's so many different denominations of Christians even, right? They've got different beliefs on things. But to the extent that Christians overall are human beings that favor and prefer what is godly and good and right, even if they've got problems, if they've got difficulties or sins, if they want to call it that, or they got weaknesses or whatever, they don't want that. They want to be right. They want to be good. They want to overcome. They surrender their life unto God. They pray. They want what is good and right. So I always stand on the side of the fence with Christians, always, for that reason. And Trump certainly does that. He stands on the side of decency and morals and traditional family values and Christianity. And again, our nation, our sovereignty, borders.
Well, yeah, he's also of course, a big supporter of the police, even when a while back when a lot of people weren't for the police or trying to make them the bad guys. And thanks to Trump, we kept them in a good light.
Yep, true thing, man. That's a good point. Yeah, and I'll just put that word out. I mean, people respect law enforcement, man. They deserve it because really, they're just human beings, man. They're human beings like you and me. And they get a job because we all got to have a job, and they happen to choose law enforcement where they put their lives on the line every day. Are there bad cops out there? Yeah, but they're far and few between. Just because the media loves to find that far and few between and promote it on the airways to try to make people anti-cop. Don't fall for that shit. Respect. I salute police officers every time I see them. Every time I see them, I get their attention. I salute them. I do that with fire rescue guys too. I respect them. And I'm an EMT myself, so I know. I drove with fire rescue. I know what they go through every day. So every time I see them, I salute them. I'd encourage everybody else to do the same. Treat them with the respect they deserve. If there's a bad apple, he'll get weeded out soon enough. And he'll get exposed for what he is. But overall, respect law enforcement. Give them the respect that they've earned, and they deserve it. As human beings that are just out there, they got families, and they're putting their life on the line every day. And if they got more respect, they'd even have a better relationship with the American people, and that's what we want. We're all in this together.
Right. Same with the military. Let them know that you thank them for keeping us safe and all that. Absolutely.
Yep, I thank them all the time. I know my mom does too. So, any last words? We got a minute, Brian.
Well, again, I'd just like to thank Mikhail and Brain for getting us going with this. And
you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Brian. I appreciate y'all. That was a beautiful show. I sat back there and listened to the whole thing. Mike, you did very, very exceptional as well. Thanks, appreciate it. And Brian, I'm telling you, just tell Brain. Well, put Brain on the phone for me. Put Brain on the phone.
Okay, hang on. Hey, Brain, come on. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Brain, did they do a spectacular job tonight or what? For show one, this was our first show. This was our premiere show, and I think they did outstanding.
They did great, and I'm looking forward to more of them because, we like supporting them, and we just look for the best from them. So
I agree.
keep up the good work.
I agree. You give them a round of applause for me, will you? Brain, clap for me with them. Now, you boys did good. Come on now, give them a clap. I'm proud of you boys. Y'all come back and see our show too. Show number 2 is going to be about this damn. I guess I'll spell it out like Mike did. This HOAX SCAM virus thing that's going on that we're all having to deal with. There's a little bit more to it than meets the eye, I can tell you that. And these boys got the numbers on it. And we're going to do that. It's going to be our next show, and we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night now. Y'all take care, and come back and see us now.
Come on back.